Tariff tensions and tariff headlines are back driving the markets. The July 9th deadline is here, but from the sound of it, things have gotten pushed back to the 1st of August, so another 3 weeks or so for further discussions. However, with no real major economic news due out or earnings reports, that could set up the market to be headline driven again, and it could be giving investors a reason to sell. Valuations are high, and if tariff tensions do increase yet again, it could all point to a pullback. But we want to be ready ahead of time. We want to have our list of watch list stocks. And in today's video, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be going through 5 stocks to have on your watch list and be ready to buy on a pullback. But before we unveil these stocks, do me a huge favor. Click that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel so you're notified anytime we drop new content, and let's jump into it. Hey everyone, Mark Roussin here, back for another video. As always, I'm a CPA and not a financial advisor, so please do not take this as financial advice. And let me thank today's video sponsor, which is the Motley Fool. The Motley Fool has a ton of great resources and products available for investors of all different levels. And right now, if you go to fool.com/Mark, you could check out their 10 best stocks to buy right now. All right, let's jump back into our video, taking a look at 5 stocks to buy on a pullback, beginning with watch list stock number 1, which is going to be Advanced Micro Devices, stock ticker AMD. And if you're like me, AMD has probably been a love-hate relationship for you, as the fundamentals have said one thing about the company, but the stock price has said something completely different, and it has been a volatile ride. As you can see here from this Fiscal.AI chart, the stock was down 30% from the 1st of January through April 7th. However, from those April 7th lows through the first week of July, shares of AMD have soared nearly 65%. Quite the turnaround. This is more of what I've been expecting when researching the stock. And as it stands right now, the company has a market cap of $224 billion. Over the past 12 months, shares are down 25%, but year to date, up 12%. So a stock that's up 60% in just a few months, is that really something we should be looking to buy? That's a fair question, but it's something that retail investors constantly do. They get so narrow focused. They don't see the forest for the trees. Because if we zoom out and take a step back, this is still a stock that's down 25% from its highs a year ago, and it's down over 40% from its all-time highs. However, the company continues to perform with revenues at all-time highs of $27.75 billion as they continue to grow. But analysts are expecting big revenue growth over the next few years. $31.8 billion expected for 2025, $37.6 billion for 2026, and $43.3 billion in revenues for 2027. Those would equate to growth rates of 24%, 18%, and 15% respectively. And when we average those 3 years out, that's 19% revenue growth per year on average over that period. Now let's take a closer look at valuation. We're going to hone in on 3 different metrics: forward PE, EV to EBITDA, and price to sales for this particular stock. And if you're not yet utilizing Fiscal.AI, you definitely want to. This is something I exclusively use for any of my valuation needs, data needs, fundamental needs, and the list goes on. It's literally a one-stop shop for me. You can even find key performance indicators. Like if you were looking for subscriber growth for a company like Spotify, it can pull all of that and put it in a nice chart for you. It is literally a one-stop shop for investing, and you could utilize it yourself by checking out my link down in the description below. But now let's get back to AMD and their fundamentals. As we can see on this chart, they have an EV to EBITDA of 36.8 times, well below their 5-year average of 47.5 times. The forward PE sits at 33.3, slightly below the 5-year average of 34.8, and price to sales is at 6.8, slightly below the 5-year average of 7.1. So shares still look decent, and I have a lot of shares already, but would not mind adding more at the right price. In fact, after the stock has had a huge run-up, for those of you that have been part of my Options Edge Plus community, you have seen me utilizing a covered call strategy. And just in the past few weeks alone, we have garnered premiums and profits of more than $500. You can follow all of my option plays by becoming an Option Edge subscriber. Check out the link down in the description below. But when it comes to a buy price for shares of AMD, I think I would start to nibble again closer to that $115 to $120 per share range, as I think we will have a strong second half to the year for the economy, the stock market, and AMD in particular. And that brings us to watchlist stock number 2, which is going to be the Trade Desk, stock ticker TTD. This is another stock very similar to that of AMD, where I've been utilizing an option strategy. And those that are part of my Options Edge community, you know exactly what we've been doing there. It's been a volatile stock, again, very similar to that of AMD. As you can see here, the Fiscal.AI chart, the stock was down 60% from January 1st through April 7th, way worse than AMD. However, from April 7th on to the first week of July, shares have soared nearly 60%. But again, remember, a 60% gain does not wipe out a 60% loss. As it stands right now, the company has a market cap of $37 billion. Over the past 12 months, shares are down 25%, and year to date, down 37%. The Trade Desk operates in the communications services sector, which has been dominated by the likes of Alphabet with Google, as well as Meta Platforms. But with all advertising seemingly going digital in some shape or form, the Trade Desk is in prime spot for continued growth moving forward. Shares of TTD have been under pressure because in the first quarter we saw their earnings report come out, which wasn't all that good. Earnings wasn't good, and guidance wasn't good. But in the second quarter, things had turned around, and maybe that guidance was more of management's way of being quite conservative. And then on top of all of that, there's been word of Amazon's approach to digital advertising stepping on the toes of TTD. However, for me, I believe that is all overblown. And you know me, I love Amazon. I'm a big Amazon bull. So let's take a look at the results first. And we can see that revenues continue to climb, but more importantly, so does operating income. And that orange line is the operating margin, which is sitting at a 5-year high of 17.6%. So we have revenues and operating profits sitting at all-time highs. Growth and efficiency is a great combo. Analysts remain bullish as they expect revenues to reach $4 billion within the next couple of years. And now let's take a look closer at valuation again, utilizing the Fiscal.AI to pull the 3 metrics we're going to focus on: forward PE, EV to EBITDA, and price to sales. And we could see the EV to EBITDA is at 66.7 times, well below their average of 111. Forward PE sits at 40.7, slightly below their 5-year average of 53. And price to sales is at 14.2, which is again below the 5-year average of 20 times. So all 3 of those metrics are firmly sitting below their 5-year averages, but they're still pretty high numbers, and those numbers do come down over time. So there's plenty of risk, but there's also huge upside. But in terms of a buy price, I think I would start to nibble again closer to that $60 per share range, as I recently sold a cash secured put at that level for those that are part of my Options Edge community. You saw that trade alert. And that brings us to watchlist stock number 3, which is going to be the Home Depot, stock ticker HD. Now this one right now, we may be a little early on, but remember, when it comes to investing, we do want to be slightly ahead of the curve. We don't want to be late to the game because a lot of gains will already have taken place. And when it comes to the Home Depot, they work and they're really aligned closely with that of the real estate community, an area that's been hit pretty hard due to very high interest rates. But what do we see on the horizon? Interest rates are seemingly going to be coming down. Lower interest rate can improve real estate sales and also home improvement. The company currently has a market cap of $370 billion. Over the past 12 months, shares are up 8%, but year to date, down 5%. So Home Depot shareholders really haven't seen much return over the past few years. Taking a look here at this Fiscal.AI chart, you can see total return of the S&P 500 compared to the Home Depot, with the S&P 500 returning nearly 115% over the past 5 years, compared to Home Depot returning just 67%. As rates do in fact come down, remodeling could uptick as well, and that's also evident based on this projection from Harvard, showing the remodeling activity growth by quarter, which is slowly increasing from a negative to a positive growth, as we saw all of last year. Now let's take a closer look at some fundamentals, and there's 3 main things that I like to look at when researching Home Depot. Customer transactions, which is going to give us an idea on overall traffic, average ticket price, as well as same-store sales growth. And we can utilize Fiscal.AI for all of these. So let's start looking out over the past decade plus, looking at traffic with customer transactions. And during the pandemic, we got a huge surge and then a fall off. But things are back growing again, which is a positive sign. So here's a look now at average ticket price per transaction, something that has been falling for 2 straight years, but well above pre-pandemic levels. And lastly, same-store sales, which takes any new stores open within the past 12 months out of the equation. Again, we saw a boom during the pandemic and then a hard fall, where we have seen negative comps the past 2 years, but the next 12 months should turn things around. Now let's take a closer look at valuation. Again, focusing now on forward PE and EV to EBITDA. And we can see that the EV to EBITDA for Home Depot is at 16.9 times, actually above their 5-year average of 15.4, and the forward PE multiple is at 24 times, again above their 5-year average of 21.5 times. So both of these metrics pointing towards a stock that's slightly overvalued. So in terms of a buy price, I think from a PE multiple standpoint, something closer to that 5-year average would be an ideal entry point, which would put us closer to that $300 to $315 per share price point to start a position in, which is only 10 to 15% below current levels. And that brings us to watch list stock number 4, which is going to be Block, stock ticker XYZ. Now, this is a position that I actually did have in my portfolio, and I had those shares called away by utilizing a covered call strategy. But I also did that because I switched gears over to PayPal, and I bought a few lots of PayPal stock. But now with the recent run in PayPal shares, for those of you, again, part of my Options Edge community, you know this has been a strategy we've been utilizing, and we're going to get half of our position from PayPal called away, bringing it more in line to where I'm comfortable with. But at the same time, I didn't want to own a ton of PayPal and a ton of Block at the same time. They're both fintech companies. But now that I'm lowering my position in PayPal, a stock that I think has a very bright future and tons of upside, that may give me some opportunity to add a little Block shares to the portfolio as well. So again, Block is going to give you that fintech exposure, but it also gives you exposure for those of you that may want some hands-off approach to cryptocurrency, because they do have big investments in Bitcoin. The company currently has a market cap of $43 billion, and it's led by the ex-CEO and founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, who saw the company purchased eventually by Elon Musk. Over the past 12 months, shares of Block are up 8%, but year-to-date, down nearly 20%. Now again, it's been a very volatile ride for shareholders of Block, very similar to what we saw with both TTD as well as AMD. It's been the tale of 2 different periods. Shares of Block through April 7th were down roughly 40%. But since April 7th through the first week of July, shares of Block have rebounded nearly 40%. There's plenty of catalysts behind Block for the price to move up. We have stronger economic growth. We have a new tax bill that could bring a surge to economic activity. We have rates that are going to be coming down. And I believe we could see a summer surge with the price of Bitcoin. Any one of these 3 things can be that catalyst for the next leg higher for Block. But who doesn't say we don't get all 3? When it comes to revenues, they continue to rise for the company. But more importantly is the fact that the company just became profitable from an operating standpoint last year. And that could snowball for investors moving forward. Now let's take a closer look at valuation. Again, utilizing Fiscal.AI to take a peek at both forward PE as well as price to sales. The forward PE currently sits at just 23.1 times, below their 5-year average of 24.5 times, and price to sales is at 1.77, again slightly below their 5-year average of 1.93. So both of these are pointing towards a stock that appears to be slightly undervalued. So in terms of a buy price, when we look at the chart, we are about to witness a crossover between the 50 and 100-day moving average, which is a bullish sign for the stock. So given the volatility, I would utilize a cash secured put on the stock with a strike price around $55 to $60 per share as an ideal entry point. And that brings us to watch list stock number 5, which is likely the highest risk stock of all 5 we've looked at today, which is going to be Alibaba Group, stock ticker BABA. And I know this is a Chinese company and there's a lot of influence there that a lot of people say, hey, I don't want to invest in Chinese related companies. But do know that Alibaba is audited by Big 4 accounting firms here in the States. So that can bring you some comfort if you were to invest in Alibaba. The company currently has a market cap of $243 billion. Over the past 12 months, shares are up 45%, and year to date, up 25%. When it comes to Alibaba, there's a lot to like. Outside of where its headquarters reside, it is a diversified business that is often compared to the likes of Amazon, but not to that quality. But when it comes to Alibaba, it's not a stock that I'm crazy about holding. It's not going to be a sizable position within my portfolio, and it's definitely going to be a stock that I will utilize options to enter into. When looking at the financials, we can see revenues continue to grow at a healthy clip, and operating income sits at all-time highs. Now taking a closer look at valuation, again utilizing Fiscal.AI to take a peek at EV to EBITDA, forward price to earnings, as well as price to sales. The EV to EBITDA for the company is at just 8.6, well below their 5-year average of 14.5. The forward PE multiples at 10.8, again well below the 5-year average of 15 times, and price to sales sits at 1.77, well below the 5-year average of 3.3. So by looking at all three of those metrics on a 5-year average, shares look very undervalued. But at the beginning of those charts, you saw a large surge. So now let's take that out of the equation and instead look at the 3-year average and how they compare valuation-wise. When we now look at EV to EBITDA, again, it's still at 8.6. It's in line with the 3-year average of 8.7. The forward PE multiples at 10.8, slightly below the 3-year average of 10.4. And price to sales is at 1.77, exactly in line with the 5-year average. So this gives us a very different look, showing that shares are actually more fairly valued on a 3-year chart. So in terms of a buy price, that $95 level is what I'm pinpointing in terms of utilizing a cash secured put, as that would be the April low and an area that I would be comfortable adding some shares. So there we just looked at 5 very different companies with varying degrees of risk. Make sure you understand the risk before getting involved. And down in the comment section, let me know which of these 5 companies is at the top of your watch list if we do in fact get a pullback. And if you haven't done so, show your appreciation for the content we put out regularly by simply clicking that like button down below. It really helps with the growth and reach of this channel. And make sure you subscribe so you're notified anytime we drop new content. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Take care.